Jumpluff usually operates a pretty good damage sponge absorbing Malamar energy. However, this opponent don't know about that Hyper Beam coverage. They're about to find out. Welcome back to the channel. Today, I'm actually super hyped for this shoutcast for two reasons. Firstly, this is possibly the craziest Poison Double Dark strategy I've ever seen. ABA Grass is certainly a very interesting team comp. It's going to give us ABA weaknesses to things like Fire, Flying, as well as Ice that are all very common in the Great League meta. The second reason I'm super hyped today is because it's going to be the first time I'm featuring Vileplume in a video. Despite this being the home of Shadow Pokemon, this thing has been pretty dreadful. However, it's got access to Acid that, of course, got a huge buff this season, so maybe it's now Vileplume's time to shine. The reason we've never seen Vileplume on the channel before is because it's a Razor Leaf user. Firstly, I don't like Razor Leaf, and secondly, if you're going to be a toxic Razor Leaf user, you need a 35 energy charge move like Victreebel with Leaf Blade and Grottle with Body Slam. Vileplume's cheapest move is Sludge Bomb, costing a whopping 50 energy. Vileplume is in desperate need of a cheap charge move. The only other charge moves it has access to are Moonblast, Solar Beam or Petal Blizzard. Today we're actually opting for Petal Blizzard, another move I've never shoutcast on the channel. It's not actually the worst move, if I'm being brutally honest. It's a clone of some more common moves that you can see on the screen. The reason we don't see Petal Blizzard is all the Pokemon with access to that move have access to better grass type moves, stuff like Energy Ball, Grass Knot, or if you're a Comday Pokemon, the very hard hitting Frenzy Plant. Today's save switch is going to be Malamar, not just any Malamar, running that surprise Hail Mary Hyper Beam. Of course, Cacturne needs no introduction. With all that being said, this intro's gone on for far too long, so without any further ado, let's get into the battles. And in game one, today's featured battle of Romvor sees a battle of grass types. Poison does hit grass for super effective, however both Pokemon that are sub-typing does neutralise that poison damage. Romvor gonna strike first, firing off the Sludge Bomb on the charge attack priority, forcing the first Protect Shield of the game. Looks like Romvor not willing to shield the Rock Tomb. We're going to get our first look at Vileplume's bulk, and ouch, that Rock Tomb did a very substantial amount of damage. We then pivot out into Malamar, fire off the foul play on the charge attack priority, looking to move Cradily from the field of play. Oh, that's rough. Cradily survives deep in the red. Romvor again opts the no shield. It looks like he's put all his hopes and dreams on the back of Cacturne. The opponent not wishing to concede a farm down, send out Big Man Blastoise. Looks like we won't quite reach the Hyper Beam, but even the foul play leaves a very solid dent. This Blastoise is now completely low on energy. Romvor waits out his clock, sends out Vileplume. The opponent commits to the rollout farm down. However, that looks like one Sucker Punch range to me. So Cacturne can safely shield this up. The opponent only going to reach one charge move. The opponent then sends back out Cradily just to feed us free energy. And it all becomes apparent why as out comes Drifblim. And we all know how this one's going to end. We fire off the Trailblaze. The opponent tanks the first, recognising the second will do more damage, but they're not even going to stick around long enough to reach the second move as we Sucker Punch farm down and take that game. In the next battle, we see Jellicent in the lead position. Despite us being a grass type, we've definitely got two better responses in the back. So we save switch into Malamar, fire off the foul play, forcing a protection. The opponent bank their energy and send out Drapion. Oh baby, is it the first Hyper Beam of the video? The opponent fire off the Aqua Tail. Malamar withstands the damage. Romvor commits the Hyper Beam and he's able to get there. The question is, does the opponent respect the damage? Oh. I was literally about to boom this Drapion, but it was not meant to be. However, I guess I should be happy as we have got a 2-0 shield advantage. Romvor sends back out Vileplume. Vileplume gonna respect a potential crunch. The opponent does full send the crunch. We're gonna go straight for the Sludge Bomb. Whilst this Sludge Bomb won't quite be lethal, hopefully we can acid farm down before the next crunch is reached. Vileplume able to do exactly that. Jellicent cannot return. Oh baby, Marowak certainly isn't going to fancy this matchup either. The Mud Slap, you saw it come through, which means this Marowak straight in and straight out. Petal Blizzard picks up that one-hit KO, and this unshielded Jellicent is about to be feasted on by Cacturne. Cacturne tanks the Surf. The opponent able to reach one more, but we can safely shield this up, and we are going to be able to fully Sucker Punch farm him down. Romvor, with other ideas, going to go for that Bad Manners Dynamic Punch. Double resisted, but still going to be all she wrote. GG's to that opponent. Heading into the next battle, we see Galvantula in the lead position. A decent matchup for us. The Volt Switches are resisted, and the Lunge will only hit for neutral. We've already seen that Vileplume doesn't tank charge moves particularly well. Oh my days, not well whatsoever. We then see the opponent make a very heads-up play, sending out Frostlass to absorb the energy where it will be resisted. The opponent almost sniped down our Vileplume, but Romvor able to react quick enough, saving Vileplume as the third shield and send out Cacturne. Cacturne goes to one shield, full Sucker Punch farm down, back out comes Galvantula, and Galvantula is instantly greeted with a Trailblaze. Trailblaze force our Protect Shield back. The opponent tries to reach the lunge, they don't get there. Cacturne gets the full farm down. And what the heck is that? A Waterfall Empoleon. That is certainly a choice. Dynamic Punch forces the opponent's final Protect Shield, and here comes Malamar. If we was running the more conventional moveset of Superpower plus Foul Play, we would have already returned this Steel Penguin back to his Pokeball. However, as we haven't got a Superpower, we are going to need to reach back-to-back Foul Plays. Thankfully, Waterfall, not known for its energy generation, so Malamar is going to be able to outpace to the back-to-back Foul Plays, and Romvor will be emerging victorious. GG's, and thanks for playing. Heading into the next battle, we see Vileplume into Morpeko. Well, this should be a good lead, although I'm pretty certain that a non-stab Psychic Fangs is going to do far more damage than we'd like. I guess we're very quickly about to find out. Ouch. They did do a lot, to be fair, but we're not really in danger of getting Thundershock farm down. Romvor going to overfarm, fire off the Sludge Bomb. This probably goes shield as Morpeko users. I love to shield everything. Oh baby, that is a very nice catch. This Psychic Fangs is going to be triple resisted. It's dark, double resist Psychic, and Psychic does resist itself. The opponent actually has a huge favour there pivoting out. Whilst the catch was very nice, our Sideways in return would be double resisted by Morpeko. It would have been a very difficult farm down. The opponent sends out Azumarill. Yeah, so we're going to shoot up the Ice Beam, and finally we're going to see that big beam land. Azumarill probably thinks it walls the energy. Who runs Shadow Hyper Beam? Ask that's who. Holy! I did not expect Azumarill to get one shot there. What the hell was that damage? Back out comes Morpeko. Morpeko greeted with the Foul Play, and the opponent find himself all shields down. We pivot out into Vileplume. Out comes Trevenant, and it should be a very easy Cacturne clean up. If I was playing this battle, I'd just no-shield whatever Trevenant throws, which should be the Shadow Ball, as of course it would do more than a Seed Bomb at saving the shield for Morpeko. Actually, let's be honest, they would have Shadow Balled there. I think we would have actually got knocked out. However, they went for the Seed Bomb bait. Why? I'm not entirely sure. The opponent then fire off the Psychic Fangs, which might be double resisted, but at this point, we don't give a shit. We've got the Dynamic Punch locked and loaded, and that is going to be all she wrote. I definitely overestimated Cacturne's bulk. Even resisted moves almost one-shot you, which is kind of absurd. Oh boy, we are in trouble. We are ABA weak to fire, and we see Turtonator in the lead position. As if that wasn't bad enough, we save switch into Malamar, and out comes Umbreon. Who runs Umbreon in Season 23? I'm really not sure on this bait, but it does work out for Romvor. I guess the thought process from the opponent is if they can correctly shield the first superpower, it would do the most damage. We're then going to invest a Protect Shield. This time, Yola the Hyper Beam, whilst Hyper Beam might have one-shot Azumarill. That was because the Sideways were chunky, and these double-resisted Sideways haven't put them in Hyper Beam range. We then see Malamar save the pivot into Vileplume, looking to bait back out Turtonator. Turtonator re-enters the arena. If this goes unshielded, we might actually have a chance here. Okay, are we going to beat a Fire League with ABA Grass? This is going to be nutty. We send out Malamar just to force the energy. I think we've got a no-shield and put it all on Cacturne. Overheat picks up the knockout. Cacturne hits the field of play, able to Sucker Punch farm down before the Incinerate registers. Out comes Big Man Blastoise. That's either CMP or the opponent's throwing a Hydro Cannon. I think we have to no-shield this. Okay, we do invest to Protect Shield. The opponent then banks a Hydro Cannon, pivot out into Umbreon. We've got to commit to the farm down or double up. Romvor opts to Fire Energy, and like this, I think we just lose. Unless on the off chance, Cacturne's bulky enough to survive a Hydro Cannon. Come on, Cacturne, please! Unfortunately, it's not meant to be, but a very valiant effort. GG's to that opponent. Heading into the next battle, we see Marowak in the lead position. Despite us being a grass type, this isn't particularly the best matchup. These Mud Slaps do hit for neutral, and we are going to have to try and sneak a Petal Blizzard through 2 Protect Shields. We actually bank our energy, see the pivot into Malamar, and check for the opponent's best Dark type counter. The opponents stay in, looking for some chip and dip action. Well, I say chip and dip, that Bone Club almost knocked us out. Malamar returns fire with the Foul Play, forcing the first Protect Shield of the game. This Marowak starting to get out of hand. They do invest a Protect Shield and fully Mud Slap farm us down. Vileplume re-enters the arena, gonna fire off the Sludge Bomb. This is resisted, but does force the opponent all shields down. This now leaves us with a one-shielded Cacturne versus the world. Cacturne hits the field of play, the opponents stay in just to fire off the Bone Club. Whilst Bone Club is resisted, we've seen that Cacturne cannot tank a hit for shit. Cacturne gets the Sucker Punch farm down, leaving with a reasonable amount of energy, and out comes Lapras. We're going to overfarm, fire off the Dynamic Punch. Dynamic Punch will pick up the one-hit KO. Are we about to see back-to-back big booms? Maybe. Does Shadow Drapion die to a Dynamic Punch? Bang! There it is. Shout out to Go Oxford U for that quote, and we take that game. Heading into the next battle, we see an awkward lead. The opponent potentially pivoted, anticipating Razor Leaf, and send out Regidrago. Malamar gonna strike first, firing off the foul play. Once again, Malamar stripping shields left, right, and centre. We probably survive a break-in swipe. Not that would help us. If we just get farmed down before the next foul play is reached, the opponent actually forcing the Dragon Energy, cleanly picking up the one-hit KO. Vileplume gonna race to the Sludge Bomb, just looking to move Regidrago from the field of play. Very, very surprised to see the opponent burn the final shield here. They once again force in a Dragon Energy. This is just going to set up Vileplume for the Acid farm down, leaving very close to the Petal Blizzard. Back out comes Quagsire. No, trainer, say it ain't so. Quagsire vanquished, back to its Pokeball. Oh, it's Gramble in the back. We're very quickly going to get tap, charm down, farm down, and despite the big boom, that one does end in heartbreaking defeat. Heading into the next battle, we see Greninja in the lead position. The opponent says no thank you, say switch into Dustoir, and they are immediately hard punished by Cacturne. This is likely the Sucker Punch bait. However, they're not going to reach 2 moves. So if I was the opponent, I would just YOLO the Dynamic Punch, but it is what it is. Greninja reluctant to return as we're loaded on energy, so out comes Clodsire. Clodsire greeted with the first Trail Blaze. We reach the next Trail Blaze. This should force a Protect Shield. If not, Clodsire is going to get knocked out. Can the opponent fully Poison Sting farm us down? The answer to that question is yes, but they've lost almost all their HP. I guess we just send out Malamar to operate as the damage sponge. It looks like again we do get one turn bring in as no Psywave does sneak. The opponent falls in the Earthquake. We then anticipate the opponent pivoting back out into Greninja. We see the simultaneous swap with Vileplume re-entering the arena. Sludge Bomb forces the opponent's final Protect Shield. These acids are really chunking. We've got to tank the first Night Slash in case the opponent gets to the boost. Thankfully, we're able to tank it. Not well, but it's just about survivable. We're going to shield up the next Night Slash. Vileplume, going to waste no time, go straight for the Sludge Bomb. I guess our lose con here is if Clodsire can farm us down and get a charge move ready. But as I say, that switch timer's up. We pivot into Malamar, Psywave farm down, and take that game. In the next battle, we see Azumarill in the lead position. I'm not entirely sure why the opponent is staying in this matchup. I agree with the shield, to be honest. If they don't like Vileplume, you may as well shield. Keep it healthy. We heavily overfarm. Fire off the Sludge Bomb. Sludge Bomb. Force a Protect Shield. Mr. Opponent, you are getting outpaced. Vileplume able to outpace to the next Sludge Bomb. Honestly, what the heck is behind this Azumarill? Romvor not interested in 2 shield and Vileplume. Opting to save a shield for Cacturne, which is definitely the play. If you're going to use Cacturne, honestly, you always need to save it a shield. Cacturne going to be looking for the 1 shield, full farm down. The opponent not wishing to concede a farm down. Send out Clodsire. Clodsire greeted with the Trail Blaze. Trail Blaze will put them into foul play range. Malamar, I was going to say going to fire off on the CMP, but it looks like we've got other ideas. It looks like we're actually going to go for the 1 shield. Full Psywave farm down. Hopefully it's time to beam whatever's in the back. Come on, opponent. Please let us beam something. Well, they've got no shields. Something is getting beamed. Back out comes Azumarill. We're going to fire off the foul play. Foul play, even resisted, does pick up the knockout. Out comes Bellybolt. Bellybolt going to be greeted with the Hyper Beam. Is this a one-hit KO? Yes, it is. Get that stupid Bellybolt off my screen, and we take that game. Heading into the next battle, we see Marowak in the lead position. The opponent says no thank you and say switch into a Bullet Seed Cradily. We bank some energy and send up Malamar to absorb the incoming Rock Tomb. As this is a Bullet Seed Cradily as opposed to an Acid one, I'm quite surprised to see us not send out Cacturne, but I guess we're saving Cacturne, hopefully to get a line against that Marowak somewhere down the line. It's become an ongoing theme of the video that Malamar is stripping shields of opponents in every single battle. Foul play, it did obtain us a shield advantage, and we just soft lose this mid-game matchup. Vileplume re-enters the arena, throws the Sludge Bomb on the charge attack priority, removing Cradily from the field of play. Back out comes Marowak. Are they willing to shield the incoming Petal Blizzard? Come on, trainer, it's just a Sludge Bomb, I promise. Petal Blizzard! Go shielded. Romvor still with 2 shields. Gonna shield Vileplume in case we need it for whatever's in the back. Before we see the pivot into Cacturne, the opponent stays in, looking to force our final protection. Romvor more than happy to oblige. The opponent actually full send a rock slide. So we could have overfarmed here, but Romvor just gonna fire off the Trailblaze and look to start vamping himself up. Out comes an Acid Tentacle. Can they farm down before the Trailblaze is reached? They cannot. Boosted Trailblaze, very easily going to pick up that one-hit KO, and we take that game. GG's that opponent. Heading into the next battle. Yikes, that is definitely a problem. We're actually opting to stay in here. We farm up, make the Night Slash catch onto Cacturne. We actually tanked that reasonably well, but we're not going to tank these Bullet Punches well whatsoever. The opponent stays in. Bullet Punch farm us all the way down, but we have got them into the red health range. Romvor now sends out Malamar. Malamar will be looking for the 1 shield. Full Sideway farm down. These Sideways are resisted, so we do get quite a decent amount of energy. The opponent then sends out Azumarill. You already know this beam's going to go unshielded, but unfortunately this one won't quite pick up the 1-hit KOs. We haven't quite done enough Sidewave damage. We then see the pivot into Vileplume, attempting the snipe attempt unsuccessful. We're going to shield up the incoming Ice Beam. The opponent stays in, allowing ourselves to get fully farmed down before sending out Dusclops. Dusclops going to be greeted with the Petal Blizzard. This likely goes unshielded, as the opponent's going to save the final Protect Shield for the energy from Malamar. The opponent overfarm, fire off the Shadow Punch just before we're able to reach the Sludge Bomb. Can we Sidewave farm down before the Shadow Punch is reached? Unfortunately, we cannot. Can we survive the Shadow Punch? Just about. Yes, holy crap. I thought that was a loss, but somehow we're able to take that game. GG's. What a crazy end game. Heading into the next battle, we see Golurk in the lead position. We see the simultaneous swap. Oh my gosh, and we are very much coming out on top. The opponent instantly concedes the match. Not really too much more to say heading into the next battle. Hopefully I'm able to compose myself and I have a vague idea of what's going on. We see Vileplume into Primate, the opponent Save Switch into Drifblim, and this is going to be the easiest 1 shield and full Sucker Punch farm down of Romvor's GBL career. Despite being debuffed, we likely force a shield back off Primate if that's what re-enters the arena, as Primate very glassy and Cacturne hits like a truck. We go for the Dynamic Punch, oh my gosh, which gets absolutely no respect. The opponent looking for the Karate Chop farm down, unable to get it before the next Dynamic Punch is reached, and we do strip that Protect Shield off the opponent. Primate leaves loaded, we send out Malamar once again, getting denied. Hopefully they're blind Ice Punching. Oh, if that's a close combat, ouch, that hurt. We then pivot into Vileplume and out comes Gator. As we've got an energy lead, I believe we're going to actually CMP to the next charge move, even if the opponent goes straight Hydro Cannon. There's no need to Ice Beam. Look how low we're getting just from the Shadow Claws. Do we reach the charge move? Outpacing Gator. Yes, we do. Vileplume able to reach the Sludge Bomb. Sludge Bomb going to knock out Gator. We're going to Acid Farm down Primate and take that game. For those of you wondering, Vileplume does have the higher attack in that matchup. Heading into the next battle, we see Greninja in the lead position. The opponent Save Switch into Salazzle, and here comes Malamar. This has ended up working out very nice for Romvor, as we've got the fire type aligned against the only member of the team that isn't weak to fire. Greninja reluctant to re-enter the arena, as they don't want to get superpowered to the face. Instead, send out Alolan Raichu. The first foul play forces the opponent's first protection. Are they willing to 2-shield Raichu? They are not. Raichu makes a very brief cameo appearance. Back out comes Greninja. Greninja looks for the Water Shriek and farm down. They probably shield this, anticipating a superpower. They do exactly that, and Malamar is absolutely popping off. Despite us having 2 grass types and this Greninja being unshielded, we're quite slow to charge moves, so this little frog might have a boost Wink on. We send out Vileplume, catch the Night Slash back onto Cacturne, and thankfully we don't see the boost. Oh man, we survived this Night Slash, which is actually worse for us. We just feed Greninja free energy. I think here you just tank the first move, shield the second, and we should be off to the races. We invest to Protect Shield. No, they get the boost. Are you kidding me? We could have actually fired off a Sludge Bomb there as well. Does a boosted Night Slash knockout. Oof. Holy, that was a close end game. Greninja putting in so much work into the 2 grass types, but was able to emerge victorious. In the next battle, we see Quagsire in the lead position, and we see the instant pivot into Malamar. Malamar wastes no time, fires off the foul play. Foul play goes unshielded. The opponent banks their energy and send out Jumpluff. Jumpluff gonna strike first. Last second, we see Romvor invest the Protect Shield, blocking up the aerial ace. Jumpluff probably expecting to to be a good damage sponge. However, they don't know about the Hyper Beam coverage. They're about to find out. Hyper Beam sneaks through 2 Protect Shields. The opponent gets one shot vanquished, back to their Pokeball, and out comes the Pancake. The Pancake greeted with the Foul Play, force a Protect Shield, and its CMP. What a crazy team comp from the opponent. They are running ABA Ground. I would say, what do they do against the Grass type? We've got 2 Grass types, and neither of them are offering any Grass type fast move pressure. We're going to send out Vileplume. Vileplume going to operate as the damage sponge. The opponent fire off the Discharge there. That is definitely the incorrect move. Oh wait, what's going on here? We've got Moonblast in this battle and no Petal Blizzard, but Moonblast still rocks the opponent deep into the red health range. Again, they Discharge. With Grass and Poison, so ground, it does hit for neutral, so they should be throwing Mud Bombs as opposed to Discharge. Quagsire fired off the Aquatail. Aquatail remove Vileplume from the field of play. Cacturne re-enters the arena. The opponent go for that Hail Mary Stone Edge. Stone Edge is shielded up. We're going to Sucker Punch farm down the remainder of the team, and we're able to end the video with a big fat dub. GG's, and thanks for playing. Whoa, what a crazy battle submission that was. Romvor, that was so much fun, and you had me bamboozled for about 90% of the video, but it was very fun and hopefully not too shambolic for anyone that's made it to this point. So if you're enjoying the content, smash that like button if you're new, consider subscribing if you'd like your battles featured on my channel. Link to our battle submission form is linked down below, and as always, a huge thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.